Folks, welcome to the Toffee Blues USA show. Would you like to see us have an intro video? Tell us in the comments below.
I think we should have an entrance video.
It should be an intro video, and it should just be a bunch of Tim Howard and Landon Donovan clips with the Star Spangled Banner in the background.
No Brian McBride. He doesn't get a
No.
feature.
No Joe Max Moore either. So
no, tough. What a tough.
And Joe Max Moore has scored for the Toffees. If we have any viewers tonight, it's going to be a miracle because this was set up for 8 p.m. when the show was supposed to be at 9. So you all have been sitting here for an hour, and you all is 0 people waiting for us. And here we are. One person. Yay! We did it. We're here to entertain you.
Heck
Whoever
yeah.
you are, we're back at the Toffee Blues USA show, late night extravaganza, and they're already gone. But
Ooh, tough crowd. We lost.
That's okay. We are mostly here to talk about Ipswich away, which you know is tomorrow at 10 a.m. our time, 3 p.m. your time if you were in the UK. None of us are that are currently on this show, so that is what it is. We're going to talk a little about the press conference and the injuries that the team has and how that is going to affect how the team looks tomorrow. And then we will also touch on the fact that Jose Mourinho has been heavily linked to Everton, and if that's something that's a good idea or if we're just kind of living in the clouds again. But Quinn, I think we both have maybe some exciting news to tell the people.
Gosh, we sure do.
We sure do. Well, I guess I can break the news, but
break it.
Quinn and I are going back over to Liverpool in January.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah, we are. For the first time ever in the 12 years that we've supported the Toffees, we are.
Oh, more than that. It's been more than that for both of us.
Okay, 15 years more or less.
Yeah.
That we've been supporting the Toffees. We're finally going to get to go see a match together, and we've both been over multiple times. We've been on our own to see matches. We're finally going to get to experience a match together, in the same stadium, in seats that are hopefully near each other, and we're going to watch Everton play Villa on the 15th of January. The game's been moved up already, but that's fine. I'm also going to stick around for Tottenham at home as well, so I will try to fit 2 games in because I'm a glutton for punishment. So
hey, I might fly back. For the Brighton game.
See, I wanted to go to it away, but the way they're set up, it just didn't work out well enough.
I know that's where.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna have Shannon with me as well. So.
Heck yeah, we love it.
And my little brother Mateo. I forgot to say, my little brher Mateo is going to finally get to watch a game at Goodison. So it's like a huge American roundup. Other than Danny can get to hell. Forget that guy.
Danny's asleep. He doesn't know. He ain't here.
Danny is literally like the bogey that hangs on. He is a dingleberry. No, we love Danny very much. But yeah, so be back over in January. It'll be great to see y'all. I think we'll spend a couple days in Dublin first and then make our way to Liverpool and watch the matches, go on a couple trips, maybe go up to Edinburgh or something because that's such a lovely spot. Maybe
Forrest is getting out of Liverpool is what he's saying, everybody. Forrest is going to leave the city of Liverpool.
Just stop. Because I always leave the city of Liverpool, but I stay in the country of England. That's been the difference. I don't go into Europe. And that's what Danny continues to encourage me to do is to go into Europe. I haven't done that yet. But it's only because I just find you lovely Brits so entertaining, and I really like to try to make your accents my own. And it usually works. I usually pass off as a Scouser when I wear my trackies and stuff. I'm like, all right, lads. So we're going down to the offie, get us a bottle of vodka. And going down to the Goodson Park, watch the match, lads. Yeah, brilliant.
Lots of years of practice. Too bad your brother and your girlfriend will out you.
Wow. I'll remember that one, Quinn.
I know, I'm just saying.
That's fine. I don't even want to hide my identity. I'm American. Regardless, let's get into the show. We're just going to get away from this. This is fun.
All we're saying is excited to be back.
Yes, we're excited to be back. We're excited
together.
Going back.
We have been trying to get together since, I think, 2013. Like 2013. Yeah. We have been trying to get over at the same time.
Well, we're finally going to make it happen. So a little injury roundup to start off. Obviously, the international break is over. We had some scares for Ndiaye. He seems to be okay. The big news is that Mykolenko and Coleman are both back in contention to start. I would expect that Mykolenko will start, which is going to be a great pleasure to have an actual left back again.
Yes.
To be fair, he has not had the best starts of the season, but he's also had to play next to Michael Keane for every match. So I can't hold too much against them.
Hey, I think Michael's played okay. That's not what we're talking about. But the last game, I thought Michael played pretty well. That's all.
Are you kidding
I'll leave
me?
that there. Just a little.
I think you're dead wrong. I think that we got really lucky that we didn't lose against Newcastle personally. But regardless, because they were very wasteful with the chances they had. They were like they didn't seem like they cared, and they totally should have beat us handily. That's
Hey,
my opinion.
just because they're wasteful doesn't mean that Michael Keane couldn't have played a decent game.
Nah, he didn't. Anyways, some of the big news and big worry is that Branthwaite has continued to have the little bit of a niggle of an injury that he's been dealing with. Deitch didn't seem to put too much anxiety into those moments when he was talking about Branthwaite in his press conference, but at the same time, we know that it could very much be that he's just not going to play. He'll be on the bench or he might not start at all. And Tarkowski, Keane, Mikalenko, and I'm going to assume that Ashley Young is going to start. I don't think Coleman's quite ready yet. Is going to be another scary back four, in my opinion. And obviously we're in spooky season, so it's just going to fit the theme of what we have going on here. Other than that, Patterson's still working on his comeback. Whether or not he ever plays for this club again, I really don't know. And we'll talk about that later in the show. The two big misses are Eric Boonham and Garner. Eric Boonham has that stress fracture in his foot, which is excuse my language, bitch to deal with. I've had a stress fracture in my foot before. It sucks because you cannot do anything. You cannot put any pressure on that foot. Because if it is not healed, you put the wrong pressure on that foot, it opens back up, and you're back on your heels for back in your butt really for another month. It is an awful, horrible injury because it's not a break; it's just a crack, and that almost makes it worse because either develop into something worse or just continue to reopen up as a crack and just be an awful injury to deal with long term. And Deitch himself even said it was going to be a few weeks, which is a bummer. It leaves us with fewer midfield options, especially with Garner being out with his back issue. It didn't seem like that one was as long of a break for Garner, but at the same time, Sean Deitch is so wishy-washy with the way he really describes injuries that we never really know. Other than those two, Broja, of course, is still out, but I believe there is some more progress being made on him. The whole deal with him was that it would probably be till November when we actually saw him in the team in training. And then, of course, Trimity is out for quite a while. I'd assume that it'd probably be till the new year or close to the new year for him, especially with surgery involved in his injury. Any initial thoughts or worries about those injuries, Quinn?
Yeah, I mean, I think Branthwaite is you just hope that it is getting better on the schedule that we assumed. Like you said, Sean Deitch doesn't really give much away with how he speaks of injuries. Obviously, Tim being injured, like you said, stress fractures are awful. It's like a sprain. Like you'd rather have
rather be broken. You'd rather be torn.
a clear fit. Yeah, a clear fix, which also sucks. But hopeful that that's not too much longer. And if Broja is on the schedule that I think we all were thinking, that will be good. And hopefully it's not like through the new year. It's not one of those situations where...
Right. It's something where it extends a little bit longer. He picks up another niggle. That would be very frustrating. I am very, very, very happy and satisfied that Ndai didn't have any sort of bad injury, that it was definitely a precaution that he was when he was taken off. For Senegal, and what that does give me is a lot of hope for his national team, that they're looking at these injuries and making sure they're taking care of their players instead of trying to get them to play through them. There's always this worry with the way national teams view their players versus how the clubs view their players. As the national teams, there's not much of an investment they really put into those players in terms of actual salary or monetary value. It is just, you're coming to play for us. We called you up. It's an honor. You'll get some sort of stipend or something from it, and that's what it is. And for the clubs, that can be very frustrating because managers will use those national team players up to their extent as much as they can because they have their own jobs and their own ambitions that they have to worry about. But
I know you always hold your breath. You hold your breath on
every international break. Yeah, Jinx. Literally every international break. It's just you're just hoping nobody will. And it really seems like for Everton, there's just always somebody who picks up an injury. It's just always, even if it's somebody who's a bit of a bit part player, it's just always somebody who picks some sort of injury up.
I mean, I feel like every other time Seamus Coleman goes on international break,
he breaks his leg.
Goodness gracious.
Yeah. Well, as far as injuries go, that's all we really have. I couldn't find the press conference anywhere. I won't lie, not on YouTube anywhere. It was kind of weird. I'm not. You would imagine those sort of things would be available, but whatever. I don't think there was much that anybody really talked about when it came to the press conference other than the injuries. And that leads us to our main topic of the day. It is Ipswich away. What a day for the Toffees. Let's hope. Some stuff about Ipswich. They have still yet to win this season, which fills me with dread, with crazy dread.
Amen.
Because we are the team that a club like Ipswich looks at and like, we've got them at home. Oh, we're gonna win this. This is our first one of the season right here. That just reeks of Everton, of us not showing up against this Ipswich team and letting them make us look like we're a League Two side. Make us look like Doncaster looked when we played them earlier in the season. Yeah, they've yet to win. And I looked into this because I was interested, and it's actually funny. We are actually down in our all-time record against them. We are 30 wins to 21 draws to 31 losses. So Ipswich have actually beaten us more than we've beaten them all time. You know, that sort of record doesn't really mean much. But at the same time, that's kind of like, oh, what?
That's not a fun fact.
No, it is not a very fun fact, but it's one that we're going to talk about here. In terms of players for Ipswich, they are kind of limited in where they can really be strong. Obviously, their main threat right now is Liam Delap, the young man, 21-year-old forward. 4 goals so far this season, including 3 in his past 2 games. He is definitely a player who is starting to find his feet in the Premier League. And just watching his highlights of his goals, really he is like power. He is a powerful striker. When he's shooting that ball, it is all instinct. He is just trying to get as much pace and power into that ball to get it past the keeper as he can. And most of his goals are coming from inside the box. He's not short at scoring from the outside the box. They are first time finishes or just finding an opening and squeezing a ball in, and there's a deflection or something that comes in that he's scoring off of. Other than that, they don't really seem to have much to threaten us on the attack. I say that now, but we're going to go in tomorrow, and Jack Clark is going to have the best game of his life. They have Ogbene, who played at Luton last season. I don't expect him to do too much. I think really our main focus is going to be on stopping Liam Delap and making sure that he can't score. If we're looking at kind of like where we can attack them, watching their game against West Ham, definitely what we can do best and what's going to unsettle them the most is being very direct against them. That young man that they signed from Hull, Jacob Greaves, we were linked with him pretty heavily, especially if Branthwaite left. Watching him so far this season, I am very, very happy we didn't sign him because he doesn't quite look like he's found his feet yet in the Premier League. And this is early days. It's a very tough league to come into as a defender, especially against some of the talent that's up here. But he looks like a guy who just isn't quite sure of himself. He's making mistakes. He's giving the ball away in bad areas. He was directly responsible for their first goal they conceded against Villa. I think our biggest point of emphasis needs to be on running at them, whether that's letting them have possession and counterattacking. We need to make sure that we are attacking them, and it cannot be a slow, methodical game. We are sitting back and letting them have possession, because if we do that, this Ipswich team is going to be up for it. That stadium is going to be up for it, and we're going to have a very bad day tomorrow if we sit there and let them dictate this game. We're going to need to come out early. We're going to need to make ourselves known early. Because what will happen is if we don't do that, Ipswich will smell blood and they will score within the first 10 minutes, and this is going to be a very long day for us. Quinn, any other thoughts to go with right now?
I think it's a game on paper that we should win. Obviously, there are plenty of those.
Seriously.
They are a team that I think is up for it. Like they are, like you said, we have to show up, be direct, try to keep the ball, letting them have
as
it
much as we can. Yeah.
It's one of those games where you look at it and you think, yeah, they haven't won a game. It's a turning point in their season, I think, too, because this is a pivotal moment of, if they lose, then it's like the pressure's seriously on of where are they going to get their first win. And it is also one of those like that meme where it's like time for Everton. It's just like
my gosh,
you
yes.
like, yeah. I think we should win the game. Like you said, being able to play direct and play to Dom's strengths. I think it's a perfect game. If we can get good delivery into the box. Yeah, like you said, I think their fans are going to be up for it. It will be an energetic first 15 minutes. Like they will be really pushing, and once we settle into the game, like we need to have control of the game.
Yeah, 100%. It's going to be so vitally important. I mean, and this is important in every game, but a game like this where we're going to a newly promoted side who haven't won yet, who are looking at us as a game that they can win. It's going to be so important for us to set the tone and really more than anything to score first. We need to score first. We need to kill that stadium's momentum. And we need to make sure that we need to dictate this game. We need to make them play to our terms. Whether that's physicality, that is the way the game's going to go. That's making them panic. It's going to be very important for us to put the pressure on them. They have a number of players, and I already quoted Jacob Greaves as one of these. They also have Calvin Phillips, who I know is a player who's still not there confidence-wise. He is a player we can get on top of. If we sit back and do not pressure Calvin Phillips and let him do what he wants, he's gonna gain confidence throughout that game and eventually be able to dictate that game. Whether that happens right away or not, we need to make sure that we are pressuring the players who are low on confidence. And not only Calvin Phillips, but their goalkeeper Muric. He's the young man, or the young. I think he's a young goalkeeper. He played for Burnley last season. He was a mess. He had many mistakes and gaffes throughout the season that were highlighted pretty heavily. He is a player that we can target with crosses. He is a goalkeeper that we can target on corners, especially. And if we do our job right, and if we've done our job, if Sean Dyche has done his job with his team, then we're going to be set piece crazy in this game. We're going to be scoring on set pieces, and it's possible that we do that. But it's I think the main issue we're going to have is getting down the pitch, because if we set ourselves up to lump balls to Calvert-Lewin, who is isolated, they're going to have their big center backs there who are just going to deal with that all day. And it's going to be a very lonely day for Calvert-Lewin and a very frustrating day for us as fans to watch that. But the issue is that this has just kind of been the metamorphosis of the Sean Dyche team so far this season. I know there's been injuries. I know there's been a bit of unsettlement in the squad because of the injuries, but we're just playing these percentage balls long to Calvert-Lewin and hoping something sticks, hoping for a foul, hoping for a throw in to be able to keep the ball up the pitch. And it's just, I don't know if Dyche doesn't trust the players we have in midfield right now. I don't know if he just thinks that there's no point in playing through them, but it's very Allardyce. It's very like just bypass the midfield. They're just there to win the ball back and fill in space when they need to.
Yeah.
And it's frustrating. It is so frustrating because I'm sure players like Mangala, I'm sure players like Irubunum, I'm sure players like Garner are like, well, why can't I get on the ball and try to dictate some play? Why are we not trying to play through me? Because we can play through me and get to Ndiaye. We can't get to Ndiaye through long balls. We can't. Like we try, we get it. Like, but the issue is that there's percentages that we get it to Ndiaye on those long balls are like 1 in 10. There's too many portions of this game where he is not involved in play when he needs to be involved in everything. And maybe you could argue that he himself needs to get himself more involved, but the way we play does not lend itself to getting him involved in the game. It is not to his strengths. And he's a player who's already shown himself as a player who can be incredibly important for this club this season. As a creative impetus, as an unpredictable dribbler, as a player who can finish, as a player who can play 1-2s and be an extra dimension of our attack. If we are not utilizing that to the best of our ability with every attack, then we're really doing a disservice to this team, and it really highlights more deficiencies that Sean Dyche has as a manager.
Yeah, I also am not nervous, but the, I would say, lack of a backbone that we seem to have to finish out games. Yes, they lost to West Ham, but they scored in the 95th minute to draw with Southampton. They were down 2-1 to Villa and came back in the last 20 minutes. So I just, that makes me nervous. It's one of those, if they score the first one, if we're up 1-0 and they score one, I
They'll
think
score
you're just
again.
waiting for the second. Yeah, which is
Yeah.
not good. Like
No.
and I do think it's an opportunity. That's the kind of team where if we are up 1-0, we should be able to prove to ourselves we have a backbone against a team
Just
like
see it out.
Ipswich.
Let's just see it out and
Yes.
score another goal. Absolutely.
Yes. And with them, like I said, they've done it multiple times this season already. And it's like Sean Dyche said when he was managing Burnley. It's, hey, they don't know how to win,
Yeah.
like, and so I hate that that's even but there is this like fear mentality. You can feel it. And I hope that tomorrow that's not the case. Like, I think tomorrow is, like I said, it's a pivotal game for Ipswich, but it's also a pivotal game for us. If we go up 1-0, it's a great opportunity to be like, we have a backbone. We are not going to concede in the final 10 minutes. We are going to see a game out. And so I am hopeful for that opportunity. Hopefully we take it.
Yeah.
We'll seize it, but
I could see the opportunity coming our way. I can see us being up in that game. There is a reality where that there's a very strong reality that happens. My biggest issue with how we perform in games where we are up and it's getting late in the game is that we just don't take care of the ball.
Yeah.
It's mind-blowing what we do with the ball when we are winning in games. We just throw it away. We are just throwing it forward, panicking, throwing it forward. It is so frustrating. I don't get it. I do not understand the process that he is trying to implement and how he thinks that it works. Because when you watch it and you're sitting there as a fan and watching, you're thinking, we're just trying to give this game back to them. Like we are scared to have this ball right now.
Just acting like Oprah. You get a goal and you get a goal and you can have a goal. You can have a shot on target.
That's the thing. Yes, we just give them whatever they want over and over. And I don't think it's any coincidence that the only game we won this season is one that Branthwaite started and Keane didn't. I'm going to be real. I know you don't think that Keane didn't have a bad game against Newcastle. That's fine. But his overall, who he is overall as a player, sends shockwaves to this team in terms of
Sure, I think it makes people play nervous. I won't argue with that. There's no I just think that's an isolated game where I don't think he was the liability in that game. Like, I don't think that he was against Newcastle specifically.
No, it was Decore in our midfield actually, but
and
this is another thing. We are going to have to watch Mangala and Decore probably tomorrow, and that is really frustrating to me because there's no balance in that midfield when Decore plays there. He cannot. He is just. He's not a good enough player truly to play in just about any position, but especially in a two-man midfield where you have McNeil push forward being an attacking being a 10 and you have Decore and Mangala sitting next to each other. He's just his positioning, his discipline, his technical ability. Yes, physically he can run about and press people, but I mean, just about any player in the world who plays at a professional level can run around and press people. That's not what you need. You need somebody who can actually offer in midfield at this level. You need somebody who can actually offer true qualities and not just physical ability. Yes, sometimes he'll get in the box, but like watching him go forward with Calvert-Lewin is just it's again like we are square pegs and round holes over and over and over with this team trying to make things work. And I get it, the money has been there. We haven't been able to bring the players in, but just put in Gay and Mangala, make it a defensive midfield. If you're going to play over them anyways, put two players in who are going to be positionally disciplined, who are going to win the ball back in good areas and not give it away in bad areas, and just make it that and let them distribute. Let them distribute easily, make easy passes forward or easy passes back, and let the people you want to actually distribute the ball and get on the ball. But don't try to fit this player in because you trust that he's going to have a physical presence and maybe get forward and score a goal. He's not. It's not it. The experiment's over for Decore, in my opinion. He got this extension this season. That's great. I do not want to see him get signed on again. If it's Deitch, he probably will. If it's not, he'll be gone. He doesn't need to stay here. I don't want to hate on him because has scored some really important goals for this club, and he's got a little bit of cold icon status. But this current iteration of the team and this current iteration of a player that Decore is just not good enough for this team right now. It's not enough to make this team go forward. It's not enough to make this team a viable starting 11 when he's in there. I don't know how you truly feel about Decore, but that's it's I hate to say it because I don't like to talk about Everton players in a negative way, unless they're Michael Keane. But it's just frustrating. He's just not somebody we need in midfield, and I would much rather have Gay and Mangala and let it just be defensive and go and play to your strengths defensively and shore that up, especially if you have Keane starting. Shore that up, give him more cover in front, and just let McNeil and Dye, Harrison, and Calvert-Lewin fight for these long balls forward and see what you can do. That's kind of what I feel like has to happen with Dyche right now.
Yeah, I'll leave it at that.
What? Okay. All right. So let's do a prediction for tomorrow. What do you think? Come on. 7-0 to the Toffees. No.
Yeah, now we're talking.
Yeah.
I wish.
If we score 7 goals over the next 10 games, I'll be amazed.
Oh my gosh. I don't know.
To be fair, scoring's not been our issue this season.
No. I think it'll be a nervy 1-0 win.
1-0. Oh. I don't think we keep a clean sheet. I think it'll be 2-1. I think we'll win. I think it'll be 2-1. I think we'll go 2-0 up and then concede, but we will find a way to hold on. I do think Branthwaite will start. And I think that will at least help us hold on. But yes, I think 2-1. I think it'll be a good win that will get us up the table a little bit, get some breathing room, and get some confidence in this team. And we just have to continue to try to move on and try to build on these results and fight for the points that we need to, and just keep distance away from the bottom 3 so that we as fans don't have to freak out at all this season, especially going into like the holiday season in January when it gets real busy. We don't want to be freaking out in the bottom 3, lumped up with Wolves and Ipswich and Palace and all these other teams that have quality players who just haven't quite performed yet. But I think we'll win. It's a struggle to say I think we'll win, but I do think we'll win. I think we'll just have enough to beat them because I don't think there's enough quality in that Ipswich team to beat us. It'll just be about us showing up. And I think we'll know within the first 10 minutes whether or not we've showed up.
Yep.
But
I'll give it first 20. I think the first 10, if they come out crazy, I'll give grace for 10 minutes.
Unless they score. If they score, then
sure.
That's a tough one.
I agree, but I think they'll come out firing more than we will, and I think
I agree.
Not that it's okay, but it's if the game gets under control at the 10th minute, I'm okay.
Yep. But we have to make sure we don't. Again, like if they come out firing, that's great, but we need to come out firing defensively. We need to be ready for it.
Yes, I agree.
We need to be able to weather that storm right away. Because if we're not ready for it, God forbid, if we're not ready for it, and they come out firing and they score the first 10 minutes, they'll score again in the 20th minute. It'll be 2-0 before halftime, and it will be a 4-0 game, and we'll get smacked and look like idiots. But we need to make sure whatever storm they come out with, whatever fire they come out with first, we need to be able to weather that and temper that and be able to retaliate.
Yep.
But so our next topic is a little silly, but it's something to talk about. There's been some tenuous links to former Roma manager Jose Mourinho. Coming to the club, Jose Mourinho. I just think we don't have too much to talk about this week other than Ipswich. So I kind of wanted to touch on Mourinho, but in a broader sense, the kind of manager that Friedkin might look for, and he's really the only manager we've been linked with so far, other than that was Texter, who was linked with that Argentinian guy in the Brazilian league. He's really been the only manager that's been talked about so far with in terms of Friedkin and Everton. And my 2 questions for you, Quinn, are 1, do you think Mourinho would be a good fit for Everton? And 2, do you think that a high-profile manager like Mourinho is the kind of thing that Everton need right now?
Ooh, the way you worded this, well, first question. I think I just laugh at the thought of Jose Mourinho being our manager. Yeah, it's really hard to take that statement serious, even if at some point there becomes serious links. It's like Carlo Ancelotti, when he was linked, it was like, it wasn't funny. It was like, is this real?
Yeah, literally.
It's like, wait, it might be real. Whereas Jose, I'm like, no, like no way. Right. But in a totally different way. Do I think Jose Mourinho and like a high profile manager is what Everton needs right now? Gosh, I just want like a steady ship that's not like a Band-Aid fix.
Oh, I know. That would be
Uh,
crazy. I just want somebody who gets his 10th every season. Like,
I
just
just
give us a couple of
will.
years of that.
Yes, like I don't want David Moyes back.
No,
Don't.
no,
That's not what I'm
absolutely
saying.
not.
But
No.
man, some security of like mid-table to like fighting for Europa League David Moyes, I would cry for like that
Yeah,
season of life. I'm like, can we just get that back?
I know.
Like, I don't even want the like Bobby Martinez, we're fighting for Champions League, and then all of a sudden we're
I'm
dropping.
going
It's
to get
like,
you Champions League.
yeah, no. I would take like the ship is just gonna sail off into 10th place for the next 3 years. And then we'll talk about some high profile
Yeah, we
flashy.
can talk about building, right? Building the team, building the
Yes.
player. I mean, that's the idea,
Yep.
right? When I see Jose Mourinho linked to Everton, one, I get a little excited because I do think that his attitude and his swagger fits Everton to an extent.
Mm,
There is a sense of Jose Mourinho against the world that fits Everton very well. We are
sure.
very much Everton against everybody, and have been for a long time. That's just the way the Evertonians survive and make sense of the world around them is by maybe living in a little bit of delusion. And I think that fits Mourinho very well. Being the master of your own reality. Do I think that he would be some instant crazy success? No. I think that he would probably manage to get us to finish ninth or eighth place. Maybe he even, if he had some money to spend, he might even get us to finish in a European place. But I
This
think
year?
not this year.
Oh,
God,
okay,
no.
okay. Just making sure we've got our reality glasses on here.
I'm,
Okay,
I
that's
mean,
all.
like, here's the thing: if Deitch were to get sacked when this deal actually goes through, and they sign Mourinho, I would expect us to stay up. I'd expect us to finish upper bottom half in like 11th through 14th place. We'd
Sure.
finish comfortably. We wouldn't get relegated. I'd imagine that he'd have some money to sign some players in January. Who that would be, I don't know. I'd
Uh-huh.
expect to be at least one Roma player coming in because that's just probably who we're gonna get. Like we're gonna get linked with every single Roma player that ever exists for the
That
next,
ever exists.
yeah, for 5 years. The only one I really want is Paulo Dybala. I freaking love that guy. Oh, he's still at Roma, right? I'm not going crazy. I love him. I love Dybala. Um, Tammy Abraham would be okay too, but I don't think he even really plays for them anymore.
Tammy's on loan.
Oh, is he? Where's he at?
I think he's at Milan.
Oh, did he? Oh,
Mm-hmm.
crazy.
Yeah.
Regardless, um, but yeah, I think the ultimate thing with Mourinho is that it will eventually end in tears. It will eventually sour because
Yeah.
it's just what happens with him. It just sours. His pride and his ego are too big for him to be able to hold it back. I think we would get some really good moments, especially in games against Liverpool. I think it would be a very entertaining sideline because he obviously has quite a bit of disdain for that club. And he has said it. I think there's been quotes from years ago. He's openly said, I would manage Everton before I would ever manage Liverpool. Excuse me. And Evertonians used to hold it up as this big like badge of pride. Like, yeah, Mourinho would manage us. And it's not because he likes Everton, it's because he freaking hates Liverpool. He really does not like that club for whatever reason. I don't know why it is. He does not like Liverpool, and that sits well with Evertonians as well. His
Sure
style of
does.
play probably fits pretty alongside Sean Dyche right now in terms of that it's a little bit like slow, a little
Yeah.
archaic, a little past it, which is why I don't think he's somebody who would be a really good long-term fit. Um, and when I really look at what we need as a club right now moving forward, I don't think we need the stopgap manager that he would be. I think we need a project. I think and I would hope that Friedkin recognizes that as well and doesn't
Mhm.
start to get drawn into the allure of what Mashiri did with signing these big name managers. Um, Starting with Kuman, he moved on to what should have been the right project manager, Marco Silva, but didn't give him the time to really build the team that he really needed to. Sacked him very quickly, moved on to
Duncan Ferguson
for a little bit, and then it was Ancelotti right after. And Ancelotti was an amazing surprise, and we all really enjoyed it, and really enjoyed a full season of him, even if it wasn't with fans. And we all hoped that he would stick around. Obviously, Madrid came calling, and we knew what was going to happen there. And then it's been a falling off a cliff since then with Lampard, and with Deitch now. It's just I went with Benitez. Excuse me. I'm sorry. I started with Benitez. Why did I forget that? Yes, Rafa. I
try to block that out of my brain that ever happened anyway.
The crazy duality of Everton is that we went from this incredible high of Ancelotti, even though we finished like ninth, or eighth. Like we didn't finish in a great spot, but we finished
second at Christmas.
Yeah, exactly. We finished with this crazy high of Ancelotti, and we're like hoping to like really kick on and become a team that could like even finish in the top 4, and then on, and it's like, okay, Rafa Benitez, and it's like, oh, are you kidding? It's just the plummet down to the bottom floor, the basement, below the basement,
I know,
the loam,
and everyone's saying this is going to be awful, and the club being like, no, and then sure enough, it's awful.
Well, and like we win our first 3 games, and we're like, oh, maybe this. And I was just kind of like, in my extreme hopefulness was like, oh, like, okay, maybe there is something here. Maybe he can really turn this around. And it was just never going to happen. He freezes out our best player at the club. He freezes out Digne. He just makes a mess of everything. Brings in Nathan Patterson as his final parting, like, last gasp stab at the heart of Everton, spending 15 million pounds on a player that just can't get into the team, and now the current manager like seems to hate. And and then we sack him, move on to Frank Lampard, barely stay up under Frank Lampard, get through another half season with Frank Lampard, and sack him because he's gonna take us down for sure, and bring in Sean Dyche, barely stay up under Sean Dyche, and then we have a full season of Sean Dyche football that's just mind-numbing.
I feel like we go on these rants of like the history of the last 8 years, so not even 8 years, 6 years so often, and I think
how could you?
Because
what else?
I was just gonna say, though so many things are so upsetting to me, nothing makes me angrier than the reality that we appointed Rafa Benitez. Like there's so many bad decisions, but that makes me like that. I'm so upset that was ever even a reality.
And look, and that should probably just take us to our Q&A and our first question that I think is going to be great for you. What are your scariest, worst times an Everton fan? Honestly, the whole show could be this. The whole show could just be us talking about our worst times as an Everton fan, because I don't have enough extremities. I don't have enough limbs. I don't have enough cells in my body to tell me how many bad moments I've had as an Everton fan. I can go back to my first bad moment as an Everton fan. It was like 2012. 2009. We lose the Anfield Derby. Gerrard scores a hat trick. I'm watching that in a hotel room, like, why the hell did I choose to support this team? But I stuck by them. Then 2012, fast forward to 2012, right? Like I'm kind of off and on relationship with Everton. 2012 comes around. I'm like getting ready to go into work at McDonald's. I'm like 17 at the time. And we've just lost to Norwich 2-1 away. Freaking Grant Holt scored the winner in like 87th minute, and I'm going into McDonald's like, why the like I'm not going to support Everton anymore. Why do I support this team? Like, what the heck is my problem? And eventually somebody talked me off some random person talked me off the cliff of that, and so I kept supporting the club. But like, I just remember the frustration I felt of like, why did we just lose to Norwich away? Like, how can we lose to them? Why did we let Grant Holt score the winner? Like, Grant Holt is fat. I'm sorry, that's not nice.
Oh, that was rude, but it's okay. He didn't do anything to you except to upset you that one day.
Yeah, he did. And he exists. Yeah. I shouldn't say that about Grant Holt because that's not nice. And he's still a professional footballer. He played at the highest level. I can't say too much. I didn't. I played pickup. But it's just like, what else? That 4-0 Derby loss at Anfield when we were.
Oh gosh, that was really so bad.
Something going on, and then we just got smacked around by Liverpool, which was ridiculous.
Oh, or the awful goal in the last minute. You were there. Were you there?
Yes.
The Divock Origi goal. Oh,
yes,
that was just.
Oh my God! I was there.
You were there.
I was.
Yeah,
there.
I knew you were. I forget you were there, but
dude, queuing. I mean, I can replay that moment in my mind over and over.
I know.
Literally the last 30 seconds of the game, everybody's standing up to queue up to leave, and you watch the shot loop up. Well, hey,
and you think surely that's going over the bar,
and then Pickford literally tips it from the top of the bar back into play, bounces off the bar and onto Origi's head, and nobody like got pissed off. This is the thing. Nobody like reacted. Nobody reacted. Everybody was just like,
oh,
okay,
I remember
left.
watching that and being like, oh, no way. No way did that just happen. No way.
This is just what Everton are, though. They are this pit of misery. When people, I don't really get on board with people who say, "Oh, Everton's a social experiment to see how much pain people can take." No, they're just a football club who's incredibly unlucky and just makes really bad decisions all the time.
Sure.
Like just shoots themselves in the foot over and over and over and over for no reason.
Yeah. Well, I've only been to one game where I've taken somebody from America outside of my family to a game, and it was one of the worst experiences was driving all the way down to Southampton to watch Charlie Austin score in the first minute and then to stand there and watch us lose 1-0. I mean, one of my college roommates was like, why do people enjoy this? Because all I've sat here is listened to everyone cussing and being pissed for literally the entire game because we conceded in minute number 1. I'm like, yeah, I don't know. I'm so sorry. We should go home. Like, I'm so sorry that I introduced you to this reality.
I know. I mean, look, I've been to so many Everton games. Like, I freaking went to Southampton 2, Everton 0, 2 own goals scored by Anton Alcaraz and Seamus Coleman to basically end our hopes of a top 4 finish under Martinez's first season.
What an awful way to end this show, Forrest.
And then there's more questions.
I'm gonna leave this and I'm gonna be just worked up and upset.
And then after that, I had the privilege of watching us lose to Manchester City 3-2 when Barkley scored that screamer goal in the 10th minute, and this is when Liverpool were going for the league, and City had to win their games out, and everybody in the stadium was like, they didn't know nobody knew whether to cheer or not. Like, people cheered, but our friend Jed is right behind me, and he's not cheering, and he's looking around like, fucking hell, like Jesus, like nobody wanted us to win that game. Nobody wanted us to win.
I mean, I gotta be honest. I've been to more good games than bad games. I can't sit here and pretend that I've been like watching us beat Chelsea.
To, like, the big high-profile games. Like, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna go watch us play Liverpool every.
I watched us play Arsenal in 2013-14 when we were fighting for 4th place, and we won 3-0. It was amazing. Awesome. That was my first game at Goodison Park. Amazing.
4 times and seen 1 draw and 3 losses. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, I've been to Anfield too, and I watched us lose like 5-2. It was like 5-2. I'm pretty sure it was the score. It was the last game that.
It's when freaking what's his name?
Marco Silva was sacked the next day.
But what's the kid's name who scored? The center back. What is his name? He like it's gonna bother the heck out of me.
But then I watched us beat Chelsea that like game, right? The very next game. Marco Silva sacked, Duncan Ferguson steps in, we won 3-1. It was amazing. I'll never forget the sound of Goodison Park singing Duncan Ferguson's name. Oh my gosh. Yes, I've watched us lose to West Ham. I mean, the West Ham game this spring was woeful. I mean,
I watched
where Beto missed the penalty and then they scored 2 goals in like the 91st and 94th minute.
Awful.
Yeah.
I watched us beat Manchester United and then David Moyes got sacked afterwards. That was pretty cool.
Way to go, dude. It was all you.
Yeah, I gave the ball back to Dennis. I was literally front row of the Gladys, first seats right there, pitch side. I gave the ball to David De Gea. That's my claim to fame.
Well done.
And then I got to speak at the fan zone when I won. I sat in the press box and watched us lose to Manchester City at home. Yannick Bolasie scored from outside the box.
Oh, Yannick.
Oh
my
man, we
goodness.
lost 3-1. We got smacked around. NBC commentators are like, "Well, that was dreadful after halftime." Like we had like 2% possession. It was
You're
Allardyce.
like, welcome to my life.
And then I got a picture with Sam Allardyce, and they forced me to smile. I will put that
Jeez.
picture up soon. They've literally forced me to smile. Oh, no more bad. We're talking about a lot of bad.
Yeah, this is enough. This is enough.
This could have been the whole show.
I can't go to bed after talking like this.
Most memorable Halloween memory. Let's get away from everything. Most memorable.
Hot take. Halloween's the worst holiday. I'll stand on that.
It's been a great show. It's been a great show. No, I mean, but I get it. It's not like a special holiday. It's like a candy kids holiday, but it's fun to dress up. I enjoy that part. And I enjoy the spooky season part. My most memorable Halloween was when I was a kid and my mom didn't let me trick or treat because I got in trouble. I know.
Oh my gosh.
And so I got into my costume. It was like a knight's costume. And I like stood outside my bedroom door and looked at her and was like, please let me go. And she wouldn't let me. She literally stood there and did not let me go.
Heck yeah. That is, I am here for that kind of parenting of like, I'm not emptying my threats. If I say you can't go trick-or-treating, you will not go trick-or-treating. That's hilarious. We used to always do Halloween at my grandparents' house. So I never got to do it as a kid with my friends. Maybe that's why I don't like it so much.
My neighborhood.
I'm just kidding. I had a great time. In case my grandparents or my parents hear this, I'm so thankful that I got to spend time with my siblings and my family.
I'm definitely going to rat you out for that. I'm going to rat you out big time.
Yeah.
All right. Favorite scary movie? Do you like scary movies?
I do not like scary movies at all. But it technically is categorized as a horror film. But I love the A Quiet Place movies. I love them. Oh. They're so good. I mean, so good.
Why are they good? Why do you think they're good?
Oh, the character development. I mean, I'm such a nerd. Also, the like ability to put on to ace a movie with so little like
sound.
Well,
dialogue.
Dialogue. That's the word I was looking for. Super good. Also, John Krasinski and Emily Blunt. I mean, come on, they're great.
John Krasinski, come on.
That's it. That's all I got. I love the Quiet Place movies. I'll die on that hill. They're the best.
John Krasinski is a one-note actor. I love the guy, but he's just worried face. That's his role.
Well, yeah, his deaf daughter, like she can't hear and she can't. These things are gonna come get her.
That's not the point.
Okay, what's your anyway, what's your favorite scary movie for us?
I watch a hell of a lot of horror movies. I love scary movies. I'm all about it. My favorite of all time is The Thing from the 80s. I love 80s horror because I love the practical effects. I love the gore and the blood and it's not CGI.
We are so different.
The Thing is fantastic. Really, really good movie. Really well done. Good, great story. Great effects, good ending too, cliffhanger, etc. I'm not a big fan of modern horror movies because I think there's been this big shift in horror from just scary movies to let's teach people like lessons. Like, here's this movie's a representation of what it feels like to be anxious. This movie's a representation of loneliness. It's like, that's great, that's cool. I'm not scared.
Just scare me. I just want you to scare me.
Well, and then so that's why there's this series of movies out called the Terrifier movies or Terrifier. Those movies have brought some hope for me back that horror is going to be good one day because they are great. They are so freaking good. I mean, look, they're like slasher. I don't typically like slasher movies. Here, let me just mute Quinn real quick. That's good. All right. So I don't typically like slasher movies. But yeah, well, you're muted, so nobody can hear you. So don't even worry about it. Yeah, that's cool. You can sit there and say what you want.
I can unmute myself.
Oh, that's not fair. Wait, I can do this. There we go. All right. So she can't add herself back. No, I'm kidding. They're just good. They're really good movies. Like, what I really like about good horror movies is that the story isn't that important. Character development isn't that important. You just need to make it scary. You just need to kill off a lot of people. You need to make the effects really good. And that's what makes it scariest, is that there's no feeling of purpose at the end of it. Like, we did something. It's like, no, man, this guy's still out there killing people. You didn't really do much. You just kind of got away in the moment. It's still all blood and guts. And I like that. from a scary movie. I don't like it in real life, but in a scary movie, it's good, you know. And
Hey,
if you
I'm
haven't
happy
seen
for you.
so here's the thing. So Terrifier 1 and 2 have been out. Terrifier 3 just came out. I need to go see that. I need to go see it so bad. I need to. I might go see it.
How about no?
Monday night I might go see it. I don't want to go see it by myself though. I have to have somebody. Quinn, you go?
No.
Rats. Okay.
Catch ya never.
All right. Well, I don't know how we fit 50 minutes of content into all this, people.
Hey, well done. Honestly, props to us. You just ranted about all the awful moments and memories you have as an Everton supporter.
I think 80% of this show was me talking, so that's
okay. You know, I can handle it.
Quinn didn't get into to the studio till like 2 minutes before.
Oh, it's my fault. Okay.
I said you should have 2 emails there, bro. With the link there.
Aren't you just happy I'm here? Look at it.
I am very happy you're here, of course.
You missed me.
I did. I will say, so who do we, you know what? I've been so checked out of Everton because it's been crap for so long. Who do we even have after Ipswich? Genuinely, hold on, let me find that out. I need to see what our run-in is like before I
can't see without my glasses. We play Fulham after, I believe.
Fulham at home. That's right, correct. Cool. Okay. That is awesome and another winnable game. I mean, look, I am somebody who thinks that every Everton game is winnable. That they should be able to beat everybody. That's you know, my blue tinted. Do you stop agreeing with me? That's my blue tinted glasses. But look, Ipswich, Fulham, Southampton, West Ham, Brentford, all winnable games. That's 15 points right there that we really should be taking. In reality, it'll probably be like 8. That's fine. Yeah. 2 wins, 2 draws, and a loss. I'll take. We just need to get some points. We need to get to the table, and we need to stop talking about our frustrations as Evertonians and try to start looking forward to this freaking era and try to start looking forward to just movement forward for this club, because we need to shake off some of these demons that we've been living with for a while.
Preach it. Come on.
Amen.
Come on. Amen.
All right, y'all. We are out. Good luck to the Toffees tomorrow. Y'all get some sleep. I'm playing soccer at 8 a.m., so I'm going to be doing some sleep soon, too.
T-minus 12 hours till game time.
Yee-hoo! Yeehaw, y'all. Up the Toffees. Hey, wait. Quinn, what are you going to be for Halloween?
I have no idea.
I'm going to be a scary dentist.
Wow.
That's because it's like one of my jobs, you know, it's like an office job. So like it's my whole division is like, we're going to do a dentist theme. And they like send out an email. Okay, well, hold up. Let me tell you this before we go. They sent out an email today, right? Like trying to get everybody's like scary dentist names. I'm going to be Dr. Incisor. But yeah, it's a good name. And they also asked us to come up with like, you know, some creative names for the clinic. And I came up with 3. One of them is like, we'll use some random, whether one of our doctor names or another one will be Dr. So-and-so's dental clinic for the criminally insane was one of my ideas. My second one was for an acronym. It would be called Really Optimal Teeth, ROT, ROT. And then my third one is again like a doctor. It's Dr. So-and-so's teeth cleaning and foot massage. Yeah, that was a good one. That was my best one. That one got people laughing.
I'm so proud of you. Well done.
I don't believe you at all, but okay. I do. Thanks, Quinn.
You're welcome. I know.
All right, let's get out of here while we still can with our sanity intact. I don't know. Mine's not.
Cheers. Mine either. Good night.
Up the Toffees, y'all. Oh, an outro video.